The rules weren't followed, and then your
professional
department did
services
nothing.
guide.
So I'm going to now hand the time over to Mr. Brock.
I have one question, Minister. Two middlemen companies, Government of Canada Strategies and Dalian combined, received $27 million in taxpayer dollars on the ArriveScan app. The combined ownership of both companies is 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Two companies. Do you agree with a majority of Canadians that there is a serious problem in this country with government contracting?
I agree with the Auditor General's report that stated there was a serious problem with the contracting undertaken by CBSA for this application, and we are prepared to follow the recommendations of the RCMP when they are forthcoming. And in advance of that, I have made an announcement to make sure that we are increasing the oversight under our guide for managers and professional services.
To my colleague, Ms. Kuzi.
Thank you.
As Receiver General for Canada, the Minister of Public Services and Procurement is responsible for overseeing all the funds coming in and going out of government accounts. What is at the bottom of every single check that comes out from the Government of Canada? The signature of the Receiver General for Canada, the Minister of Procurement. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Souza, you've got like 13 seconds before we have to dismiss the minister.
So do you want
4
me to,
minutes, sir.
you want me to proceed? Okay, I'm going to share I'd like to share 2 minutes of my time with the Vice Chair, Mr. Majid Jawari. Minister, thank you for being here, and I appreciate you and your team and the extended and the amount of work that you do in clamping down on fraud and enhancing accountability. And I know that some members opposite have been going on about the double dippers. Of course, one of them was a card-carrying conservative member of Canada. And he was out there doing what he's doing. We recognize that major cuts is part of the problem as we proceeded forward. Members of this very committee voted against funding of the Office of the Commissioner of Lobbying.
Point of order.
I'll pause your time, Mr. Souza.
Mr. Souza is deliberately spreading misinformation with the evidence that was heard yesterday.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Souza, continue.
Misinformation is something that they know all too well, Mr. Chair. And furthermore, they voted against the Office of the Commissioner of Lobbying and the Office of the Information of Privacy Commissioners. And funding of these officers of Parliament is extremely important. They hold the government to account and ensure trust of our institutions. Certainly the Officer General, the Office of the Auditor General is a prime example. So, Minister, the leader of the opposition, Pierre Poilievre, when he was minister responsible for safeguarding our democracy, he did not ensure that these officers of Parliament were actually funded adequately. Can you explain to this committee your thoughts on how we ensure adequate funding for these institutions, and what are the next steps that are being taken to take accountability measures and adherence to the issues at hand?
Sorry, Mr. Chair, there's a lot going on in the room. I didn't quite catch the question. If I could ask the member to restate the question, thank you.
I would. I'll repeat the question, Minister. You're doing extensive work. You're taking initiatives going forward, recognizing some of the shortcomings that have occurred, recognizing some of the shortcomings from the previous government as well. What are the steps that are being taken? Can you reaffirm the announcement that you made today?
Well, I thank you for that question. The first thing we're doing is we're taking a comprehensive look across government. Many departments will be examined by the Comptroller General. We will be doing a horizontal audit, and from there we will also be enhancing the Manager's Guide on Professional Services, and we will be looking at the directive on conflict of interest. The actual new guide on managers and professional services is being issued today, so we are taking proactive steps after the Auditor General's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this question directly goes to the clerk of the committee. As we are talking about the ArriveCan, I would like to get confirmation from the clerk of the committee whether all the documents that Mr. Christopher, which is the CEO for GC Strategy, has he provided all the document that he was supposed to provide to the committee? to you?
You can't ask questions of the clerk. You can ask me to ask the clerk.
Okay,
But my
Chair,
understanding
thank you.
is Mr. Firth has set forth 2 sets of answers, but did not answer everything completely that was asked of him.
Okay, is clerk in that position as well?
You can go ahead and respond, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, as you stated, sir, the committee has received 2 correspondences from Mr. Firth, the last being distributed to members on Monday morning. I believe that correspondence that was circulated in both official languages stated remaining answers. Therefore, at this point, I don't expect anything further from Mr. Firth, but I would leave it to the committee to assess whether or not the questions have all been addressed in those responses. I would not ascertain to make the analysis myself.
Is there something specific you were looking for, or?
We know there was a number of, as it relates to RIFCAN, there were a number of questions that was raised, and I just wanted to make sure that all those questions were responded in those 2 responded. I do realize one went beyond the 9 a.m.
Yeah, it's a yes and no. Like, if we didn't get everything in time, the stuff that we asked, please respond in writing to, yes, but which is different than answering all the questions asked of him of the meeting. So it's 2-pronged. So questions were asked of the meeting that he refused to respond to. Questions were also asked, could you provide these items in writing? And it appears those ones were responded to.
So all
if
the
that's what
items
you're
that he
asking.
was requested to provide in writing, he has.
From what I can tell, and I think from what, I don't want to speak for you, but what I think,
Yeah,
what the
we
clerk
just
can
want
tell
to make sure
us.
the clerk.
Yeah, we're not, I don't think we're looking for anything else from what we asked for written responses.
Can the clerk kindly?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would say that based on analysis done alongside the analyst, it appeared that the majority, perhaps all of the takeaways or the questions that were asked of the witness to provide responses to in writing were addressed. Again, I would hesitate to give you 100% clarity on that. That said, as the chair acknowledged, there were questions directed to Mr. Firth by the chair on behalf of the committee, and those questions, based on an analysis of the information, don't seem to be part of that series of answers provided. But again, I leave it to the committee and to the chair to assess whether or not they are satisfied with the responses.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else for the minister? Minister, thank you for joining us. Officials, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you at OGGO. If there's nothing else, we will dismiss. Thanks for sticking around for the extra 4 minutes.
Mr. Chair, I just want to thank you personally for chairing many meetings that I've appeared at over the years, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are adjourned.